Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are going to be taking a look at the upcoming V1.0.7 update, codenamed Starfall. That's going to be releasing on September 15th for Call of Dragons. Given there's only one server out right now, this really only affects the people there, but I still thought it'd be nice to do a full patch notes review where we go down through each line item top down, and then I'll just share any thoughts and comments, feedback that I have for any of the items. With that being said, as always, if you enjoyed the content, make sure you like, sub, ring the notification bell, and of course, if you want to be a part of our conversation, hit up the Discord. You can find a link to that in the pinned comment description down below. So without further ado, here we go. So we have an even richer combat experience, improved the Dragon Trail campaign, adding a rewards display page, and changing the gameplay of the first 10 stages to allow you to experience more varied combat. Now this just seems quality of life to me, giving you a display page to see more rewards, and then giving you some different PvE instance looks for the first 10 stages there in the campaign. Improved graphics for Legion formalities and attacks on map. I'm a big fan of animations because I think it really can make or break how invested and how authentic the fights look in a game. So I'm a fan of that if you're looking to improve those areas. Changes to Darkling battles. Increased refresh density of Darkling legions on the map. I'm imagining when it says increased refresh density, that just means you'll have more of them that can spawn or refresh within a given area, which just means maybe less marching that you'll have to do, less time that you're going to spend kind of going from one to the next. So again, if that's the case, I think that's a good thing. Reduce the difficulty of Darkling patrols, creatures, guards, and forts. This to me, again, if they're noticing on the back end that people are having difficulties fighting them, I haven't got high enough in level yet to really see it for myself, but if the data supports that, then I think that's great. However, I am a big fan of providing context, and I think taking time to explain the reasonings for why we're doing certain things, whether it's this is what it was before, this is what it is now, and this is why we're making the change, then I think that really should be included in patch notes. Your community will appreciate and love it that much more. Added rewards for destroying Darkling forts. I'm going to be honest, my general assumption here is when I've been playing Kingdom Builders, anything that kind of has to do with a fort or an alliance rally on a structure that is like a fort, those come with rewards for everyone that participates. Now maybe this means they're adding additional rewards. I haven't done any fort rallies yet, so I do not know, but if there are no rewards when doing fort rallies, then I would be somewhat shocked. Change the damage dealt by certain behemoth skills to provide a greater challenge. This kind of reads as though it's going to be a nerf, and they're just wanting you to be more tactful in how you use your behemoths, or maybe what skill pathings that you start from and kind of work on your way. So we'll see. We'll have to see how the changes look. Legion composition suggestions are made according to your chosen target. Now, this is cool because if you have different targets, right, it'll give you different recommendations on how you are selecting those units. So, like, for example, you choose a Legion, and let's say you're going to go to a Gathering, RSS style, or you're going to go and attack a Darkling unit, or going to go attack an open field march or a city. There's different icons that you'll notice at the top, and again, I'll probably have to grab a screenshot here eventually, but those are things that you'll see when you're selecting your Legion, and they're actually right above kind of the save or load slots that you can pre-arrange so that we already have those selected before you even go out. So I'm thinking this is more of a, hey, we're giving you an idea on what to use. I'm going in there so you can either factor those into preloads or just use those going forward. Girls, thank you. Then we have, with each Darkling Legion defeated, the CP cost of consecutive attacks on Darkling Legions is now reduced by 5 each time, up from 2. This effect stacks up to 4 times, up to a maximum reduction of 20 CP. I actually think this is pretty big because if you're comparing this to something like Rock, you would only really be able to get a maximum of 10 action points reduced per march, so you're going from 50 to 40, which if you're looking at 5 marches, that's 250 action points, which you can reduce up to 50, 10 times 5. That would put you at 200 per attack you're doing on a PvE unit. Now you can actually get it down to 150 in COD. So again, that's interesting to see. I'm not necessarily against or for it. I'm just going to be curious to see how it actually looks. Girls, remember when we're in here, what are we doing? What are we doing? Thank you. Okay, so that'll be interesting to see. Now we have a smoother route to prosperity. So we have Wilderberg's starting faction bonus has been changed from build engineering to destruction engineering, granting them a 10% increase in engineering when destroying buildings. So it's essentially going from, hey, we're going to build stuff to now we're going to use it to destroy. It's kind of the same type of offensive thing, really, when you think about it. I guess just now, instead of it factoring you building your structures, it's now just going to be for you. And it's interesting to see because, I mean, I would imagine most of the time when you're building, at least up until any potential fights break out, right, you're really doing it more in kind of a passive way, where it's more, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say production, but it's more of you're kind of just doing it organically as you're expanding territory out of the map. So we'll have to see. I'm curious what some of your thoughts are here. I personally don't necessarily see this kind of moving the needle one way or the other, because I mean, you have to build flags as much as you have to attack and burn them down, as long as it still works out the same way. But I would be curious for anyone that has been already doing a bunch of PvP on S1, and if you've had kind of flag fights or structure fights, how does that look and how do you think that's going to affect it? Then we have your initial CP limit is now 1200. Researching the technology, stamina 1 increases it by 200, stamina 2 by 4. So they're lowering the command points, which is what you use to attack PvE units, and then they're creating not buffs, but just add-ons for CP in the tech tree. So an interesting approach on how they're doing this one, because in Rock, from what I can understand to my knowledge, there's not really anything that increases it by that much. Right, it's kind of more of a standard placement that you're going to get, and then I believe it kind of factors into VIP, where you'll see the increase there for action points. But for this, they're actually working it into tech, so there's going to be a little bit more value on investing because it's going to factor into how quickly you're going to be able to level up heroes. So then we have hero changes. Heroes of all rarity levels can now reach level 60. This is cool because, as we showed before, for legendaries it was 60. I think for elites it was 50. And then, I can't remember for advanced it was 40 or 50. But I think that's nice. Then we have increased experience required to level up a hero. This I actually think was a needed change because, honestly, even just for the brief amount of time that I have been able to play in and out of watching out for my newborn third girl, now, it felt as though I was able to level up heroes just a little bit too fast, and I think this is going to help with a little bit more longevity from when someone starts an account. Change numerical values to certain talents. I'm not sure if this means the amount of points that you're going to need to level it up, or if this is like the percentages or the flat rate values that certain talents are going to have. Artifact changes. Strengthen the skill effect of Lucius Horn. The level of the resource points it refreshes in Alliance territory have been increased as follows: 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7. To max level 5, 6, 6, 7, 7. I actually think this is a good change, right? If they're just going to give you more, right? Bring on the money, so to speak. Reduce skill range for Blade of Reproach. I feel like I've used this artifact, but I just don't have all the names and images memorized yet. But if this was intended for it to be something that was more close range and they just gave it a little bit too much, then I think it's a good change. However, because I'm not remembering in this immediate moment, if you're someone who uses this artifact quite a bit in S1, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Change military techs regarding counterattacks for certain unit types have been merged with technologies regarding skills for those unit types. So I wonder if that means merge is it's going to kind of be like a one-stop tech shop, so to speak, where you'll upgrade a tech and it'll have 2 to 3 things that it'll factor or unlock, upgrade, buff, compared to having as many individual techs. However, I will say this, I actually think the tech trees for internal affairs could be a little bit more, just as much as I actually think the tech trees for individual players could be a little bit more too as well. Part of me feels like there's just not enough tech on the trees yet. Maybe that's something they're going to add in, we'll see. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that too as well, because again, for me, coming from other games, I've just felt that the tech trees have a lot more than what they have currently in CoD, but it is still, very early on, so obviously those things could change. Once the Augerstone stage Light Bearer has ended, regardless of whether the quest was completed, all lords can form cross-region alliances, so you're just able to do it what seems to be earlier. So yeah, I think it's more quality of life. Prerequisites, time, and prestige required have been changed for certain policies. The cost of instantly enacting policies has been reduced from 100 gems to 80. Okay, yeah. In that case, that doesn't sound bad if it's costing less. Now we get to a more accessible map for number 3. Increase the speed and range of mist exploration for scouts. I'm going to be honest. It didn't feel that bad. Like, the map is not, I mean, the map is big, but, you know, I pretty much unfogged Zone 1 and Zone 2 fully in, I don't know, a couple days, and my scout camp was at 15, 16, 17. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, if they're doing that so people can just kind of, finish the daunting, grindy task faster, then okay. But I didn't actually think it was that bad. Improved system for finding darklings. Terrain obstacles are now taken into account to reduce travel time. This is great because, for example, I noticed that when I would summon a darkling, if I was on one side of the river, it would summon the darkling on the other side of the river, and then I had to do a 10-minute walk to get there. So hopefully that'll be something that they mean, also with any other terrain differences. Increased rewards for huge successes when investigating caves. This is actually, I think, a good thing because I noticed when I got some huge successes for doing caves, even though the rewards they were obviously better than the other ones, it just didn't seem as though maybe it was good enough. Not to say that, they need to give you the moon and back for rewards, but I can see this. So that's nice. It was something that they recognized. Increased rewards for exploring mercenary camps and trader camps. Okay. Cool, more rewards. Can't be mad. Reduce the hitbox for cities, alliance towers, and resource points on the map, allowing you to more easily find a location when relocating your city or placing alliance towers. Okay. I'll take that as a win. An improved alliance system. Reduced alliance points and resources required to build alliance towers. Okay. Can't be mad at that. Increase the initial member limit for alliances. It can be increased by researching the technology Divine Covenant. Oh, this is actually good. When I was looking through everything and I was adding up the numbers as an estimate, it felt that the max number for alliances based on things like tech outside of when you're going and capturing behemoths, because you could increase your member limit that way, just felt a little low. So again, this is actually nice. I think this is a good catch from the team. Then we have, I think, number 3. You will now receive 5 beginner relocation items up from 3, which will be scrapped when your city reaches level 12. Players holding beginner's relocation items can search for and join alliances in all regions in the alliance page. So this more so means, right, your zone 1 regions that you're locked into, right, your provinces, if you will. And, right, so you have those kind of bordering the perimeter of the map. And it's basically kind of a similar thing like Rock, where it kind of goes in a circle. So you have kind of a zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. It's just not listed as such. But it's indicated based on the passes, right? So if you look at a level 2 pass and level 3 pass, you can kind of get an idea on where it falls. But this is nice if they're giving you more options to relocate. Maybe you just, you need to find the right place to go to. I don't think having 3 was anything bad, so I don't really see a need for going to 5. Reduce the city level requirement for joining alliances. You can now join an alliance from level 2. Oh, wow. City level requirement. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I think they mean City Hall level 2, and if that's the case, right, city level, then okay. I don't really see why it would be a problem to join one at 1. I don't know, maybe they're trying to cap that off for some specific reason, but okay. Increase the area of territory. Expanded by alliance fortresses and alliance towers. Oh, okay, wow. I wonder if they're doing this because of the way that you basically increase RSS production for your alliance, right? Because it's kind of square blocked. So when you're looking at the map as a whole, think of it like a hex grid. So it's like a square grid. And each grid has specific resources that grid favors. So the more flags you build in that region, from what I've surmised so far, that increases the overall RSS production. So if they're increasing that, then that means that you're thankfully going to be able to build less flags within a specific region. And then that's something that is going to be, I think, better for the alliances themselves. Then we have alliance road changes. Increased the march speed bonus for level 1 through 5 alliance roads as follows. Before changes 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Now it's 25, 30, 35, 42. Okay. So max is still the same, but they're just increasing the speed at some of the earlier levels. I actually think that's a good thing. Reduced resources and waiting time required to refresh alliance village buffs. Reduced resources and waiting time required to refresh alliance. Reduced resources. Okay. So in that case, I actually think this is a good thing, right? So you'll have certain villages that if you build territory on, it's kind of the same thing like in Rock where you're building territory, and if the territory lands on a certain RSS point, then you'll get that production added. Except in this game, they don't really have that. It's more like villages that you can connect to, and if it falls within, then you'll have like this passive auto little mini branch road that'll connect to it. and then you just kind of have these RSS quadrants, if you will. So it is a little bit of a different approach. But again, if they're reducing that, then I still would take that as a win. Now we'll look at other improvements, and we're actually almost done here. Wow, so I'm actually going through this pretty quick. Improved game stability and visual effects on certain devices. Okay, nice. Machine translation in chat now supports multiple lines of text. Ooh, okay, nice. Reduce the difficulty of escorting Kella's caravan in Season Adventures, Chapter 1, Story 1, Stone Turned to Gold. Okay. I imagine that's just because they've probably been seeing data that supports that it has been a little too difficult. And that can happen. Increased trust gained by talking to heroes. Oh, this is great. I'm still trying to figure out the whole trust. It's like these, if I'm remembering this one correct, this is where you'll have random heroes that'll spawn in your city and you can click on them and you can like donate hearts to basically increase the trust or the relationship with the heroes. And then it'll unlock stories and other things. I'm not sure if it includes rewards or not because I haven't got it that high yet, but I think that's a win. Increased rewards for Eliana's Crisis. Eliana, I'm going to go with that. Defeating Dark Eliana's army will grant tactics manuals. I'm still trying to figure out this part on the tactics manuals. So if someone can explain that to me until I actually figure it out on my own, just due to lack of time, that'd be fantastic. Otherwise, I'm sure we'll figure it out in due time. Daily challenges available during Titan's Legacy increased from 7 to 8. Fixed an issue where certain players were unable to receive treasure after collecting treasure. Ooh, I had this happen once. Okay. And then I think we're pretty much there at the end. And we welcome your comments. All players who provide feedback. Okay, awesome. So you get some rewards for doing that. Yeah, so make sure you give some feedback. That is pretty much it for our patch notes review this time around. A couple really big things. And it'll be interesting to see how that plays out on the actual map. And once the update does hit, I would really love to hear any and all feedback, comments, concerns that any of you have in the comments down below. I actually liked, I think, more of the features this time, or I should say for this update, right, than things that might have seemed a little bit more questionable. So looking forward to when that update drops on the 15th, and hope you guys enjoyed this full walkthrough. That is it for me. As always, until next time, we'll catch you later.